So this is Gotham, my 2019 retired racehorse project, and this vlog will kind of span over about 2 weeks. So this is the beginning stages with him. After I've done a fair amount of groundwork, he had some behavioral issues, like he would rear and bolt, and so I always like to start my horses bareback and kind of from the bottom. So starting with the groundwork from the beginning vlog to now, I am hopping on him bareback and just kind of really playing around, trying to take the pressure off of the whole riding. So I'm just on him and we're just kind of exploring around the barn and keeping it pretty relaxed and kind of trying to keep the focus, as well as getting them stop and back and have a little bit of patience. See a little bit of a lick and chew. So now this is fast forwarding a couple of days. So I spent several days just walking, doing very basic walk work and trotting, making sure I can teach him to yield his hindquarters whenever he gets nervous or he tried to bolt or anything. So this is actually several rides in. And so I've been able to work him out in this field. And I just started off by walking. And now you can see I'm asking for the canter because, again, this is further in the training than I was able to get video of. So again, out in this field, he has quite a bit of distraction. He's not very focused. You can see that racetrack in the back. So there's quite a bit, sometimes traffic here. So I'm working on getting the right lead at the canter. And again, the biggest thing with the young horses is that you don't want to feel like you're holding them. When you hold them, there's tension there. So, and he's kind of bouncing around and drifting off my aid. So I'm just going to keep my outside aid, the outside leg, and then when he is nice, I'm nice and soft in the canter. And he has quite lovely gaits. Of course, then he starts to get a little crow hoppy again. So I'm just going to stay patient. So see what I tried to do there is I tried to release, and so then he thought that meant to run really fast. So we had a little bit of a bolt there, not too much, but I was able to put him in a little right flexion. So again, the groundwork that I've established of flexing left or right and disengaging the hind leg will help teach them the relaxation cue. It's also really important to put one rein stop on them to help you with control. For if you do lose control, they at least understand that. So now I've got him relaxed and doing really well here. So I'll find a stopping point and end it for that day. The other thing that I like to do is really keeping it changed up. So taking him out on hacks, and here saw some big birds, and we could chase some of the bigger birds, and he seems to really like that. So it's fun to kind of tap into the curiosity of the horse and really get his mind thinking and engaging. Not care. Good boy. So now we fast forward a couple more days, and I had a competition at a rocking horse and with my other horses. So it was a really good opportunity to take Gotham there and to get him exposed to the show atmosphere, and with no pressure of competing, just to get him out. And so we were here for about 4 or 5 days. So again, this video is later on in the week. I had to spend a lot of the week just getting him out and walking because he had meltdowns. So just all we did was just walk for the first couple of days, to where then I could get him to focus and to not be so concerned about everything else that was going on. He's very distracted. But now you can see I kind of getting a nice connection with him. And again, as far as the connection in his frame, I'm really not too worried about that. I'm just trying to stay nice and soft in my hand and working on teaching him half halts. He is the type of horse that when he gets tight, he tends to overflex and avoid connection that way. So I've been working on, right now he has the mylar, which is wrapped in rubber. So that gives him something to kind of grab a hold on to, because I would rather him kind of take a hold of the bit, and that way I can get a connection through to his back, which is really important. And you'll see when he gets nervous, his legs will kind of go up and down and go really fast. Right here, kind of, he decided that was going to be the spot where he wanted to be a little naughty, throwing a little bit of a tantrum. And what you can't see is that area, kind of where I have the camera person, is the gate to head back to the barn. So it's a really good spot to work him. He can get a little bit of atmosphere from the horse show, but he's also having to work on not being barn sour. And the other thing I have to emphasize is that you'll see he's starting to get better and better, but I've also spent a lot of work making sure that he feels better. So making sure I pay attention to his stomach, treat him for ulcers, as well as making sure he has chiro, massage therapy, and then also good farrier work, and as well as making sure he's comfortable in the saddle and the tack. So especially horses that have behavioral issues, when you start to make them feel better, the bad behaviors will go away. So he is still kind of the mentality of a cocky teenager, but if I can make him feel better, then I can get his mental capacity to work a little bit better for me. So here I'm really delighted, because now he's starting to stretch over the back, and I can ask for a little bit more right rib cage flexion. This is the side he's stuck, so about right there he wanted to drift and fall in, and I kind of picked up my right rein to help, and he got really mad. Did a couple little bucks, but again, I kind of just laugh it off, not really bothered by his little bit of antics. And again, right where he wants to drop the rib cage is heading towards the gate. So he just got a little mad at that correction that I did. And again, I just softly lifted the inside rein to help him ask to move the rib cage over. And I have done that kind of step by step through the groundwork that I have done with him, and also through riding bareback. So he knows how to move the rib cage over. This is, again, when he gets upset, kind of, these are the things that we go through. We'll go through bucking, sometimes rearing, going sideways. And all I'm wanting is for him to just take that deep breath and to relax. So there he picked up the canter. So sometimes with the young horses, and the off the track ones and ones that can be really smart, it is important to take your time and to go step by step. But then sometimes you're better off allowing them to go on forward. So he kept bunching himself up. So I decided to let him go ahead and go into the canter to kind of get all this a little bit of excess energy out, and to see if I can open his back up a little bit. And again, he's just kind of hopping around. He wants to curl and drop the shoulder, because again, that's kind of what they do at the track. And I'm just trying to position his body just a little bit, so the straighter I can get him, the better the body will work. But it's a process. So there, I asked him for the canter. He can also be a little tricky, because he will kind of lean and go to take the bit, and then he disappears off the bit. So it'll seem like I'm riding him maybe a little hard at times, but I'm trying to keep the same amount of steady, not necessarily pressure, but just staying very consistent in my aids and what I'm asking. So he likes to just fall out. I'm trying to keep the balance here and ask for the canter. And I'm really trying to hold him with the outside leg, outside rein, because it's just a drifting towards that gate. And really just thinking of kind of acting like a yoga instructor. So you're trying to get the horse to stretch, You want to position their body in the right way, and we really want it to be a positive experience. So then it can feel better for him. And so he'll learn that when it feels better, then you can get the relaxation and then the tension can go away. So rewarding him there for when he gives me good efforts. You can see he got a little nervous, but then he came back. So there he's taking the bit a little bit. We're going a little bit downhill. So I'm going to put him in a smaller flexion circle to see if I can get that softer trot. And then I'll ask him for the canter again. And again, sometimes with the off-the-track thoroughbreds, you have to allow them to move forward. I found that in my experience, if I try to box them in too much and kind of just keep them at a certain gait, sometimes when I'm having issues, it can be harder for me versus if I go, okay, well, if you're feeling tight and you want to canter, let's go ahead and canter and see if that will help you take a deep breath. And so there I rewarded him again with a nice rub. Trying to make sure when he goes to drift, I caught him with my leg. So I'm looking for a place to ask him to trot, but I didn't want to do it right there at the gate. So I made sure I asked it in a different spot. You sometimes have to be strategic if you have one that's a little gate or barn sour about where you ask for down transitions. You don't want to do it by the gate. So now he's willing to kind of stretch down, which is a good boy. Whenever he gets up there, he gets a little nervous. So I have to do a little bit harder half halt with my body because, again, we're going downhill. And he kind of just grabs the bit sometimes. But there he starts to relax. And that's a little bit of the rubbery curling of the neck. Again, it's just I'm trying to get the body to get straight and relaxed. So then I can work the proper muscles. And there you can see I can kind of drop the contact and he's not going to run off, which is a nice feeling. And I found a good spot to ask him to walk. And again, I'm going to, when I ask for the down transition, I'm not going to turn and head towards the barn. I'm going to turn and walk him away. One thing I love about rocking horse is the round pen. So this is, I think, my second or third session with him. The first session, he was, of course, all over the place, kind of similar to how it looks like when I was riding him. His focus gets everywhere. And so I spent a lot of work teaching him direction and also increasing and decreasing energy. So you'll see I'll use my left hand to direct him, and then my tail of my rope is kind of my increase of energy. So I'm going to ask for the canter now. I'm going to increase with the rope. And I'm also kissing, making a sound. Now there he wanted to change directions, so I had to really up the energy to make sure I keep him going in the correct direction. So again, kind of direction, speed, upping and downing your energy. So there I was able to decrease the energy, and he is very good with the draw. Get some good lick and chews. He's, like I said before, very, very intelligent horse. I just have to direct his energy and his focus in a positive way. So he's kind of learned that he can do that in a little bit of a naughty way. So just trying to channel that energy in the right way. So again, the right side is his harder side. He likes me in the left eye, which is fairly typical. So you'll see I use my right hand to direct. I'm doing a little bit to try to keep the eye on me. It's really good that he wants to stretch his nose down, stretching over his back. He wants to try to come in on the circle a little bit. And right now I want him out. I'm going to up the energy again for the canter, making sure I keep him going in the direction. So controlling his feet, controlling the direction. And I'm just going to stay patient and consistent. And he gives me a nice soft canter there. So then I ask for the draw. Stepping back. And the other thing I had been working on, so from the first vlog, I couldn't really flip the rope over him because he thought everything was pressure. So I've worked on really showing him the difference in what increased pressure is and then what just when I just flip the rope to get him to relax. So it's fairly different when you want to put energy in the rope versus when I'm just flipping it over him. So he's learning to not be dramatic and to understand, and he's thinking and connecting. And again, I had a lot of fun playing with him in the round pen and get some good lick and chews. And now I'm just trying to play with him a little bit to follow me. Now he's making me do all the work. Like I said, very smart horse. And I just have to make sure I take the time to keep things interesting for him, changing things up, playing with the groundwork and also riding and all of those things. And again, making sure he's comfortable.